I'm Patrick Bailey with iQlist.com. Today is January 31st, 2019, and and my Prusa i3 Mark III broke down the other day with the thermal runaway. But I fixed it, and I want to show off what I did. Not only to fix it, but to improve it a little bit. Okay, so I had a thermal bed runaway again, which I've had happen a couple of times. Now, in this case, what it was is there was some issue with the thermistor that goes in the bottom of the heat bed. And I've done a video of that where I fixed it. In this case, last time I fixed it, I ordered 2 replacements, so I just replaced it again. So I put a brand new one in there. I couldn't quite find where the disconnect was or where it had frayed, but I put a new one in there. Now, as I put it in, I did do a couple of fixes. So I went and looked out at the Prusa website here, and I have one of the original Prusa i3 Mark IIIs that came out. And when the first version, they had this little guy to put the wires in and kind of hold it as it goes back and forth. And it works pretty well. I have had no issues with this connection going to my print head. So that going back and forth, not a problem. I've had problems with the one going to the bed. So the problems I've had is, one, after all that movement, and I use it a lot. You know, it runs 20 hours a day, 6 days a week, and it runs and runs and runs. But after all that running, several months ago, I had the wires to the heat bed, the electricity that heats it up, they frayed and broke, and so I had to go resolder those. And then that kind of got a little iffy, and so I had to go order some new ones and put them in. Now, the newer ones, they've fixed that problem, or they've made it better. So the new ones, there's no solder. They have drill holes, they put it on, but still I'm left with an old one, so I got to solder it. But also, rather than use this, they now have, the new version seems to have a little textile. So it's got a little bit of fabric that looks like it wraps around it. And I'm guessing they found out that was a better idea, because the other issue I've had is also with fraying of the thermistor itself, the other wire that detects the temperature on the heat bed. And so I fixed it a couple of times and rewrapped it, and I've had it break enough that it makes me go, I need to do something better. So I saw this with the new version and went, well, maybe I can repeat that. So downstairs I happened to have some fabric, and I had some duck cloth. And so if you're unfamiliar with duck cloth, it's kind of like tarpaulin. I don't know all the details, but it's stiffer. You know, it's a stiffer material. It's a little tougher. And so you don't want that thing to be loosey-goosey on the back. So I said, well, this is an idea. And so what I did is I don't know if this will show up very well. I took the cabling, wrapped it all, put it in the middle, and then I wrapped this around it. Like so. Let me get something. How about that? There we go. That's a little better. So I wrapped that around the wiring, put it over here, and then closed it with, and then I just sewed it all together. Sewed it all the way up, put it all the way up, and just sewed by hand all the way up. And then when I got that done, I went back, and every about 3 or 4 inches, I just took some thread and wrapped it around to give it a little more stiffness. And so far it's working. So it's only been a couple days into it, but I think it definitely is not too loose. It's not just falling down. It seems to be working. I've been running it for several days, and it seems fine. So with that, let me just show you up front what I did. Show it off. Okay, so here it is. So it's a little ugly. So I did all this duck cloth. You know, I put it in here and sewed it all up. You can see it's a little, it's ugly, but it seems to work. And so I just sewed it all the way up, sewed it in here. This is actually loosey-goosey up here. I didn't do anything special to attach it. And then every, like I said, 3 or 4 inches, I took a bunch of thread and just wrapped it around, sewed it up a little bit to stay in. And, you know, I don't have a good report on it. I've only been using it for a couple of days, but as I go back and forth, it's stiff enough where it's not hitting things, and it hasn't been a problem. And so I think, you know, just with the materials I had on hand, this is as close as I can probably get to replicating what the new version of the Prusa i3 Mark III has with that little fabric. And so far so good. So if you don't hear back from me with another video a few months from now, then you'll know that this actually is still working pretty well. And if it does break, you know, I'll tell everyone it broke and I had a bad idea. But it's for, you know, a couple bucks, not even a couple bucks, a couple pennies worth of duck cloth that I had lying around and some thread. Took a little time to sew it up, but overall, I think it fixed it for now. I have a feeling this is going to last for a long time. Hey, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, hey, give it a thumbs down. Also, if you like what we were doing here, subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button. And lastly, have a piece of info to share? Just post a comment.